One to you then, Pedro, if that's okay.
I've started the recording. All right.
Thank you. Okay. Um, so yeah, so in terms of what I'm going to go through, we're going to talk through the club success plan, and my thoughts on that, and what you all think as well. We'll just, I think, briefly talk through roles and responsibilities. That should be quite quick because I've spoken to most people. Certainly, certainly the newbies individually. Fees. Austin's gonna lead the bit on fees for us as treasurer. And then I briefly want to talk about the humorous speech contest, mentoring, possibility of social, and then AOB. So anything else that anybody else wants to raise. So okay, so starting with the club success plan. So let me just share my screen. That's not what I'm. What can you? That's not what I meant to do. 1 second. Hang on.
Oh,
You're not seeing a club success plan at the moment, are you?
No.
I don't know why it's doing
I'm seeing
that.
a little white line.
Yes,
A little white line.
That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
Right across the screen.
Yeah, that was all that was being shown.
Oh, that's very strange.
Oh.
We have a bit of success. Club success.
Right.
Yay!
Right. Okay. Good. Okay. So I'm just going to talk you through my thoughts, and feel free to jump in at any moment that you want to add something or suggest that we change something or whatever. Okay, committee values. I mean, I've just put in here the standard Toastmasters things and added a few things. I mean, the one comment that I'd make here is that sometimes the really kind of positive attitude that is sort of always present in Toastmasters club meetings doesn't always find its way through to the committee. So I'm keen that sort of we are as far as possible a positive, happy committee, and that's helped through everybody sort of contributing and sharing the workload so that no one individual is ending up doing everything. I mean, in terms of how decisions are made, I don't know what's normally put in here, but I'd have thought, important decisions we should be making as a committee, and anything sort of with more than sort of a minimal financial implication we should be making as a committee. But on the more minor decisions, those can be made by individuals, if it's within their remit in terms of their role on the committee. I'd have thought I assume that's how the sort of thing that's normally goes in that, unless anybody tells me otherwise. How will we resolve differences of opinion? Well, I mean, just sort of through discussion and talking it out, I assume.
I think you should say that that as president you will have a casting vote if there's a tie in any issue. You're the person carrying the can. You should have a casting vote.
In terms of how will decisions be made?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or in resolving differences of opinion.
Oh, in resolve. Okay. All right.
Wherever you think it fits. But...
All right. President. There we are. President gets final say.
Right.
I'm not going to object to that. Okay. Right. So in terms of how will the club executive committee be held accountable for its responsibilities? Well, I mean, we'll hold each other, I mean, obviously, I'm sort of overseeing generally what's going on, so I'm sort of keeping an eye on what other people are doing and that they're people doing. But generally, we're sort of, you know, we're sort of holding each other to account, really, in a sense, aren't we? You know, and if somebody, you know, appears to be, you know, dropping the can, then you know, we're picking up. We're looking to see what we as a committee can do to sort of pick that up and keep going. Okay. And then sort of at committee meetings, we're reviewing, I guess, what we've said, that people are going to go away and do, and as to whether they've actually done that or not. Which leads me on to a question as to whether we should be reviewing. Do you normally like review previous minutes at committee meetings or not?
Normally at the beginning of the meeting, you just go through
Not
that.
not the beginning of the new Toastmasters year.
No, really, it's a new slate. So I would say that we just start off with at the beginning of each meeting, review what was said at the last one, and everyone agrees or not agree.
Okay, good, thank you. Okay. When was the last time the club conducted Moments of Truth?
There's the question.
I had to look up what Moments of Truth was, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's an answer in itself.
Okay, so I let me raise my hand to just say something about it.
Go on.
The last time we did a Moment of Truth in person was in a pub when we were meeting next to Fitzrovia.
How many years ago was that?
So that was about 5 years ago. 6.
At least around 2018 or something like that, 17 or 18.
Yeah. Okay.
I probably can't find some picture to tell you exactly the dates, yeah, and some document as well. But yeah, so a long time ago.
Okay. And how beneficial, Annalise, were those Moments of Truth 5 years ago?
No, it was
nice. What is Moment of Truth?
Okay.
Here is the Moments of Truth. Here it is coming up.
I have a poster that I can bring at the next meeting if you want. It's actually asking the members and the guests about different aspects of the club experience.
It's
kind of. So, and then we explore by groups the membership aspect, the welcome aspect, the education aspect, and so on. So it's quite structured. I have a poster. I will bring it at the next meeting if you want to have.
I felt like I've read something about it in the documentation, but it sounded different than what you explained.
It's sort of a moment of kind of self-reflection as a club, really, isn't it? Sort of involving the members as well. Yeah.
It's what we are doing well and what we can improve.
Louis, you cast your mind back to when you first came to the club. You visited the club, you saw how the club was run, what it was doing, and at some point you made a decision whether you were going to stay and join the club or whether you're going to leave. That is the Moments of Truth. It is what we do as a club, how we run, what we do well, what we don't do so well, that involves someone saying, yes, I want to join this club. And it's like doing an audit on all the things that we do well and what we could do. And this is a great opportunity for the committee to take a look at the Moments of Truth before we present it to the club and decide how we're going to go and do it. Because this can be a very short bit of work, or it could be much more in depth. And I would suggest it's an opportunity for each member of the committee to take a look at one section of it, and even to do Moments of Truth over a series of meetings rather than doing it in one blast. Because the problem with Moments of Truth that I've always discovered was that lots of great ideas come out of it, but are rarely followed up. We might take one or two, but this is an opportunity to really get into it and hear different people taking time to explore and bringing the guests and the members into that conversation.
And what are the different dimensions to it? Is it like tied to different? So from what I understand, is like a SWOT analysis. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
It is that sort of analysis, self analysis.
Okay.
It is what, for example, do we welcome guests who come in to join our meetings? If we do, how do we do it? Do we do it well, or don't we do it well? Do we ignore the guests? Do we get them to take part in the meetings? Is that something that we think is good? And if it is, how well do we, and can we do it better?
My question was, is there like a formal schema? Like, do you have different dimension? Maybe some part we need to do for education, like depending on the different departments, or is it just?
It's part of the whole of the club success plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of points to it, I think, isn't there, to think about?
Absolutely.
So do we want to then integrate that into the forthcoming year
I
somehow?
think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that we, as a committee, maybe have a committee meeting in maybe a month's time, where we actually just walk through it and decide how we will approach it. Because it can be done. It can be done in English and French.
Okay. So shall we make a note then to discuss that further at the next committee meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
So Robert, this is the big poster that I have about it.
Yeah.
There is first impression, membership orientation, fellowship, variety and communication, program planning and meeting organization, membership strength, achievement recognition. They are the exact title that are on there. I will bring it to the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. So how motivated are the members to attend club meetings? I mean, I think a lot of members, my impression, I haven't looked at exact details, but is that a lot of members do attend reasonably regularly. I mean, there's a few that you tend not to see very often, but I think on the whole, most of our members do attend reasonably regularly. I think it would just be better if we had a few more of them in the first place, which we'll come on to. How motivated are members to sign up for meeting roles? I mean, I think that's a bit more of a challenge, getting people to sign up for meeting roles and getting people to engage with Easy Speak. I mean, how are you're just sort of doing this for the first time at the moment, Louis, trying to set up the next meeting. How are you finding that?
To be honest, I'm still assessing how it goes. So maybe ask me that question in 2 or 3 weeks. But I mean, 2 or 3 sessions.
I mean, it seems to be going pretty well. I mean, it seems to be going pretty well from what I've seen.
Yeah, it's not as challenging as I thought it would be for this session in particular, because a lot of people are away. So
yeah, but there's not loads of vacant roles. There's about now, is there? There's only a few, I think. So that's pretty good with almost a week to go, I'd have thought. But yeah, sort of I think we want to encourage people. We want to really make it a self-service thing. Primarily sort of reminding people, but getting them to go on and choose a role and stuff, so that, because that takes a little bit of the burden off the VPE.
Actually, that's a good segue to a question that I have. In which case do we use that auto assignment feature?
I mean, we generally don't use it. And I don't know how good it is because I've never tried to use it. Annalise?
To be able to use this feature, Easy Speak feature that is very useful, what we need to ask is who is going to attend, and then it's very effective. So
I mean, do you?
Let's say when they are attending the meeting or not, are they coming, are they not coming? Then you can try to use that, but it's very random.
No, I'm just wondering, in the past, in your experience, how often do you use it? When do you choose to use it as opposed to just reaching out to each of the members and asking them to assign themselves?
From time to time.
Okay.
I mean, if you, you know, I mean, my view is that if you get, you know, if people are saying that they're attending but haven't picked a role, particularly when it gets to sort of, you know, 4 or 5 days beforehand, then just assign them a role. And I mean, even if you don't use auto assign, what it tells you is if you click on a role, it gives you the list of people to choose from and how long it is since they last did that role. So you can then pick somebody who hasn't done that role for hundreds of days, or who hasn't done the role that role for longer, for example, to ensure that people are getting a range of roles. And at the end of the day, a member can always, even if you assign a member a role, that you know, they can always decline it if they really don't want to do it. So that's what I'd suggest.
Last question: do they get a notification? Do
Yeah.
we need to tell them?
Yes.
Okay.
But you have to only if you send the email, the club email, do they get a notification?
Exactly. You send email number 3.
Yeah, so email, and so I'd recommend, once you've assigned some roles, I would recommend sending club email number 3. You usually get a prompt once you've assigned some roles. You usually get a prompt at the top saying it'd be a good idea for you to send club email number 3 now.
Yeah.
And then you click on that and send that. So I'd recommend doing that. Yeah.
I'm just looking at Easy Speak, just as it's interesting. We've got Armin, who hasn't done a role at all. I guess he hasn't been a member very long. The same as Bazgar.
Yeah, so this is why I don't want us to be just reliant on members to choose roles.
Chris Walker's done one, and then down the bottom we've got Steve Brewer, who's only done one role in the past.
Well, Chris and Steve don't really. Well, Steve's no longer a member, I think, is he? Or no longer going to be a member. And Chris is sort of, you know, doesn't really come most of the time.
So I think you can say that nearly every member, there's lots of, they've got a fairly good sprinkling. You can see on Easy Speak, they've got a good sprinkling of roles, and some of them have got ×6, ×7. I've done this role 4 times, I've done it 5 times. So it's, I think people are doing the roles, whether they're volunteering is another matter, whether they're turning up and saying, will you be evaluator or will you be grammarian? I think there's a lot of that on the night. And I think Louis would much rather that people volunteered and it was easy rather than having to do all that heavy lifting at the last minute.
Well, this is why I think.
Yeah, my personal style, I don't really like to force things on people. I rather them volunteering on their own. But as you said, there's some people that always volunteer, or like Kia, she actually wanted to take like 5 roles for this time. And there are people who never do. So.
Well, this is
okay.
This is down to membership management as well.
What do you mean
by
that?
We actually had a conversation about it in the, I think, the training session that I attended on Tuesday, and they actually gave some tips about. Actually, I just need to recover my notes about how to deal with this situation in particular. Anyway, I'll look it up in my notes, but they were giving tips like maybe if last minute we cannot cover the roles, some members can like take double roles. Or sorry, go ahead.
Here's a suggestion for you guys to think about. So we know that we meet every 2 weeks, right? We know what all the dates are going to be. What I do is I take my Google Calendar and I mark down all the times I'm going to, which I know, unless there's going to be something out of the blue, but I know that I will be able to attend the meetings. And then I work on the basis that I'm going to give a speech on week 1. The following meeting, I'll do a role. The following meeting after that, I'll do another role. The following meeting after that, I'll put myself down for a speech. So I aim to be able to write a speech once a month and have it ready for when the opportunity comes along. We don't do that with many people, and I think perhaps that might be something that we could suggest that members might like to think about doing that. That way, you've got it at the forefront of your mind as to what is your progression, what do you want to do, and each area is that you're getting actively involved because you've already used your calendar, you know when you're going to attend, and then you say, well, I'm going to try this role, I'm going to do another role, and I'm going to do a speech, and so on and so forth.
So encouraging people really to plan out what roles and speeches they're going to be doing.
Well, exactly that. And one of the things that we should perhaps consider as a committee is, are we doing it ourselves? Are we walking the talk? I've noticed, and I'll bring it up later on, that there are 7 members of the club who haven't signed up for Pathways. So again, we have to think about, so how do we handle that, and who's going to take the lead on making sure that people know how to sign up for Pathways, to know how to choose, or what is the criteria to choose which pathway. And then, because a lot of people really have a real clear idea as to what is Pathways and why should they choose one pathway.
We're going to come to that late. We're going to come to that later, if that's okay. So let's.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pause there.
Okay, great. So yeah, and so the other thing I think is if there are that would be good is if there are members who aren't, haven't attended for a while, it would be good for, I'm going to suggest Louis, but say if you think it's more somebody else's responsibility to follow up with them to see how they're getting on, see if there's anything that basically that had encouraged them to come back if they want to do a particular role or have a speech or just be able to come and not do anything, just sort of keeping track of it, so you don't sort of get people who sort of just don't come for 3 months and then leave because they decided they're not renewing membership because they're not coming. So you try and reduce that anyway. Pedro,
that's a VP membership role.
That's a VPM. Okay. Yeah. So are you all right to sort of Eddie then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Stick an action down for me, please, Pedro.
Yep, absolutely. Because one of the things that clubs tend to do is that they put everything onto the VP education. And I think the VPM has a very important role to play in the management of the member experience. Louis's role is really to manage the meeting of getting the education role in there, but the actual experience of someone guiding them to knowing how to do things is the VP membership. And now we've got the wonderful Eddie in post that will see benefits, and that will take the pressure off Louis.
I admire your faith.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely, yeah, no, I quite agree. That's great. Thank you for taking that on, Eddie. Okay, right. Okay, I've had a go at filling this in terms of what people might aim for in the next year. It's incredibly approximate because it's very difficult to get all the information from one source. So I mean, if anybody shout now if you think that you are not in for the right thing or should be in for something else.
Can I make a suggestion that we start off with where are people with their own progression? What did they do last year? How many level 1s do they do? Where are you? So let me ask you directly, Robert. Which pathway are you working on, and what level are you working on? And
so I am doing the humorous speaking pathway.
Yep.
And I am in the middle of the second project of level 1.
Right. So do you believe by the end of 2024, the Toastmaster year, that you will have completed level 1?
Well, that is certainly what I'm going to aim for, and that's what I've put myself down for.
And that's what we perhaps should be putting out to the members, to ask them, where are you in each of these pathways? Which ones do you think? Because at the moment it's a lottery. We don't know who's doing what, because we don't ask the members to tell us where they are. Like Teresa, for example, how do you know that she's on level 2? Has she told you that?
Based on the combination of the information that's available on Easy Speak and elsewhere. But obviously, I don't know. For example, she might be planning to give that level to another club, or
and there's the
you know. So I take your point, and that would be a good thing. Okay, so who is that? Is that a VPE job?
Again, I would argue that that's a membership job. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry, Eddie.
I'm not so sure, but Louis is doing the VPE role for the first time, and it's a big job. So I'll happily go around and ask people where they are.
Are you happy to do that, Eddie? I mean, I don't think it's mega urgent, but it would be good to do it.
I think we need to do it in the first couple of months so that we can do a plan.
I think from what I understood in the training today, it's also about that's also where the how is it called, mentoring comes in. Like if we have mentors.
We'll talk about mentoring. We'll talk about mentoring later. Annalise?
I wanted to say I have my level 1 and level 2. I think I'm working toward my level 3 now.
Okay, so we'll put you down for level 3 then, shall we?
Yeah, definitely.
And
and to bounce back about the responsibility, I think it's a joint responsibility of membership and education, and all the members clearly.
Yeah, in respect to this specific task, we need to decide somebody specific who is going to get in contact with each of the members to find out what level they're working to, and is then going to feed that information back to me so that I can complete this sensibly.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All right, so once Eddie's done that, then I'll redo that page.
Well, it fits for me. That fits with chasing people about signing up to pathways, because they'll never get a level 1 unless they sign up.
Yes, I think I would definitely. Yes, I agree. I would definitely.
And so I will go and ask everybody
as well.
where they are.
Yeah,
it's worth at this point just pointing out that people need to make sure that they understand that if they've completed it in Easy Speak, it doesn't mean that they will get any credit until they complete it in pathways.
Yeah.
It wasn't very clear for myself either. I'm just learning more about it now because I'm VP. But to be honest, that was quite confusing for me as well since I joined.
Well, it's very interesting, because if we look at the Toastmasters International website and we look at membership management, there's quite a number of the committee aren't enrolled in pathways.
Yeah, exactly.
And we should be. So I'll be coming and asking you when you're going to enroll if you're not aware. But we may need to do a teaching on pathways about what it is, why it's important.
Yeah, I was going to come to this later, but I mean, I think that we should. Yeah, that we should. Obviously, mention it in the email, but I think we should do. A session actually in a club meeting on how to. And I was going to suggest that the good time to do that is possibly the first session in August, where everybody is going to be online. And therefore, it is going to be very easy for somebody to share their screen and to actually show somebody how to sign up for pathways, how when you're on pathways to choose a level and to complete a thing. I don't know if anybody would like to volunteer to do that in the first meeting in August.
Talking about extra meetings, I'm just remembering something from the training as well that sounded very useful. Like some people tend to not pick roles. Actually, I identify with that myself. Like sometimes some roles can sound too challenging. So they also recommended to have some extra sessions where we can explain those roles, like make them seem less daunting to people so that they can volunteer more, like evaluator, for example, can sound very intimidating.
As back to the pathways questions, I did 2 videos on pathways, which I've uploaded to YouTube. I'll share those with you guys. I did it a couple of years ago, but please take a look at them. If you think they're appropriate and they're still relevant today, then people can use those.
What about
That's fine, but I think it would be good. I think that it would be good to actually do it in the meeting, because then you're actually forcing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even if we play your video in the meeting.
Well, no, I'm saying, well, take a look at the
or,
video.
Or somebody does it live, whatever. But I think
And
we
then
should
do
do
it
it in the
live.
meeting, because I just don't think
Sure.
that people will look. I don't think that people will necessarily look at it in their own time as to how to do it.
I agree with you.
So I think that's why I think we should do it in the club meeting.
Yep, agree with you.
we have a 5th Tuesday this month. A 5th Monday, rather.
I was going to say,
We got a 5th Monday in the month, so we could run an extra meeting just on it as an educational.
Yes.
Don't make a decision. We'll come back to it. Just
okay.
All right.
Let's. All right. Let me. Okay. Let's. Okay. I'll just make a note of that.
Get us back on track on the agenda, Robert. We pulled you one way, we pulled you another.
Okay. Right. So, what obstacles keep members from completing projects?
Life.
Well, for some, it might be inconsistent attendance, or failure to put themselves forward for speeches. I want to encourage, like I was saying about encouraging, people to take a range of roles. Although, as Eddie said, I don't think actually that is a major issue for most of our members. But based on the information that's on Easy Speak. But I also want to encourage people to put themselves forward for a speech, and that's not only for their own development, but that's also, I think we could do with a bit more kind of speech diversity in the meetings. I feel that recent meetings have been very dominated by kind of Pedro and Annalise's very Toastmaster focused speeches, and that's not a criticism of those speeches are very useful and helpful for members, but I feel like meetings would be more interesting if there was a greater diversity of speeches, both in terms of the people delivering them and content. Now having said that, I think that quite a few new members have delivered recently their icebreaker or something. So again, I don't think it's a major issue, but I think there could be a bit more, speech diversity, people doing speeches just a little bit more regularly, once every couple of months, for example. So again, I mean, that's that's for Louis, I think, to perhaps follow up with people who haven't done a speech for a while to see if they want to do a speech.
It's interesting that members join the club to become better speakers, and the one thing that they don't do is put themselves forward to sign up for speeches.
Yeah, but a lot of people, it takes them a little while to work up the courage to do it.
Oh, is that why we're waiting for you, Eddie?
Yeah, that's why you never get many speeches from me.
I mean, it also takes time to prepare a speech. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, most of the roles you can, you know, if necessary, particularly particular while, just turn up and do it effectively. But obviously, to do a speech, you have to make it good, particularly when you're new to this. You have to spend quite a bit of time preparing it, you know, and obviously, you know, people are busy. So I think that's you know, that's part of it. You know, I remember, yeah, I mean, I don't know whether it's been such a problem here recently, but I remember when I was VP years ago at Experience French, I had a real issue with people dropping out of doing speeches at the last minute. You know, you regularly went, you know, I had more than one occasion where we went from having 3 speeches 24 hours to the meeting to no speeches 2 hours beforehand. So, you know, I think there's that aspect to it as well. But yeah, I mean, we want to encourage people to do, you know, to do speeches regularly if that's what they want to do. Okay, so I think we're coming on now to
just because you brought it up, how did you deal with that?
We just had a lot of table topics if there were no speeches. Okay, so pathways. So how familiar are members with the pathways learning experience? Well, I certainly think that particularly the newer members, you know, need, you know, and probably some of the more experienced members as well need, you know, could benefit from becoming more familiar with pathways. I mean, at the moment, what do we do about when somebody joins the club at the moment, introducing them to pathways? Do you, Eddie, run them through that?
Nobody's joined since I became VPM, so I don't know what I do yet.
Oh, sorry, you weren't VPM in the last committee.
I was, but nobody's joined.
Oh, what? Nobody's joined in the last year?
No, I was only VPM.
Oh, you were, sorry, you weren't a full year, were you? You weren't a full year.
Just
okay.
last few weeks, yeah.
Okay.
So, but I do feel that it should be part of the induction, is that there's a chat on pathways and why it's important. And
yeah, and I think it would be good if you could you know, sit down with a new member and actually show them how to do it, and, you know, show it to them, you know, or alternatively that we have some very clear instructions. But I think it is good to actually show them how to do it and explain the importance of it individually.
I think a quick this is how you get on and navigate the basics is worth doing. We won't remember much more than that, but there are loads just loads of good videos that people can do. You know, Google is fantastic for finding out how to work pathways and Easy Speak.
Yeah, I mean, just the basics.
Yeah.
Okay, so putting VPM down as responsible for showing new members around Basecamp. Okay, so we move on now to membership. So our membership at the start of July is at 21. So I'm proposing, you know, a goal of 26 by the end of the year, which you know, obviously we want to grow the club, but I'm also keen that we are realistic.
Yeah, can I just pause you on that qualifying requirement? Your club must have either 20 paid members or a net growth of at least 5 new members as of the 30th of June. So growth is absolutely great, but we also have to watch out for membership attrition, so that we make sure that whatever we get to, we don't drop below that 20th. Otherwise, all the work we've done as part of this club's success plan will count for nothing.
Yes, you're saying we don't want to drop below the 20. Is that?
That's what I'm saying, is that if we
Yeah,
if we drop below 20, and it could happen for whatever reasons, and it happens very quickly, because we're at 21 at the moment. But just
Well, we don't have to lose. We don't have to lose many members to go below 20 when we're at 21.
And that's exactly it. So we just got to be aware of that. Make sure that we stay above water, and then set the goals to go above to 26. Because we know.
Yeah, and we've already talked about some of the things I think, which for me are devices about avoiding attrition, which is, you know, having a look at who's not come to a meeting recently, who's not done that speech in a while, and following up and having a chat, you know, because there may be some issue or challenge that if you speak to them, actually you're able to resolve with them, which is causing them sort of not to engage and potentially drift off. So I think that's yeah, which we've already talked about, is one of the tools for avoiding attrition. Okay, so in terms of getting members to renew, I mean, we're going to talk. I'm going to get Austin to talk about what we've discussed on fees separately. We're going to, as we've said, for those people who join or pay their fee by the end of July, they'll get a discount because we won't have to pay as much money to Toastmasters. So obviously that's an incentive for people to join or pay their renewal fee sooner rather than later.
Sorry, Robert, is everyone aware on the committee of the price increase and when it's going to happen?
Yeah.
Is that yes?
This
yes.
I can't remember the details, but I think we talked about it 2 meetings ago or something like that.
Yeah, it goes up by $15 from August.
No, from the 1st of September, 1st of October.
From the 1st of October.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they've.
So why do people need to pay by the end of July?
Because they're saying that if we pay by the end of July, then we can get we can keep membership at $45. But from after the 1st of August, then we lose that opportunity to pay that price.
So there's a big incentive.
Oh, I see. Sorry, because remember the year doesn't actually renew until the start of October.
Exactly. So they're asking us.
Okay.
They're saying if you pay at least 2 months in advance, you can get the price at 45. If you wait after the 31st of, if you from the 1st of August onwards, if you pay then, it's going to be you won't get that discount. It'll be at 60.
Okay, so obviously that in itself is also an incentive for people to pay their renewal fee sooner rather than later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, special arrangement. I'm going to leave that because we're going to talk about that later. Yeah, and then if people, I think we should be following up with people who haven't renewed to have a chat with them. Sort of include, I think particularly sort of a week or so before the end of July, we want, that's when I would suggest that, and I think this would be for the VPM to do, unless somebody wants to suggest somebody else for it.
I'm beginning not to like this meeting.
I think about a week before the end of July, just to follow up with people, just to have a chat about what, reminding them about the discount and why they haven't renewed, and then again doing that as we approach sort of the beginning of the new Toastmasters year.
Yeah.
Annalise?
Yeah, regarding the membership renewals, what we did during the last few years, of course, we were all aware of people renewing or not, or we were discussing this thing all together. But then it was the club treasurer that did the action of asking for the fees.
Mm-hmm.
And we used for that, well, we used Toast Host for that, but it's also possible to do that otherwise, but we use Toast Host for that.
Toast is quite nice. It's simple. It automatically keeps track of who's renewed and not. So it saves the treasurer ticking off everybody and keeping track.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
are you all right to do that? Has anybody showed you how to use Toast Host, Austin?
No. I mean, I'm happy to learn and happy to use that. Sounds useful to be able to track automatically. So yeah, happy to learn and use that one. But no, I haven't.
Okay. Okay, well, perhaps you and Eddie perhaps could have a session where Eddie shows you how to do that on Toast Host. Would that be all right?
I'm still a novice on Toast Host. I would.
Okay. So Annalise
is an expert.
Annalise is an expert.
so we can do that, the three of us. Yes.
Hang on. Which three people?
I mean, Austin as club treasurer, Eddie as VP membership, and
Okay.
myself as immediate past president, and
Okay.
having experience about these tools.
Very good. I mean, I suppose because we did Toast Host yesterday, didn't we, Annalise? And you recorded. We recorded the meeting.
Yes,
but we didn't look. We didn't look at that particular aspect of it, or did we?
We didn't look at the membership renewals, but we had a look with you and Chao what Toast Host can provide to the club regarding the organization. Yes, club management. We did that.
Okay, so I mean that recording could always be shared, but
we can do another one.
But yeah, I mean, I think a session on that with the three of you will be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What is your club's plan to gain new members? Annalise, why don't you, because you were telling me about all the different sort of French related networking groups that you're a member of. Why don't we start this off by you just telling everyone a bit about that?
Okay, so what was the question?
Well, it's what is your club's plan to gain new members? And I know that sort of we're a member of this sort of kind of French networking group, aren't we? And we've got this upcoming possibility of doing an interview, and there's the stuff in the Petit Journal. So could you talk a bit about all that?
Okay, so firstly, we had the anniversary meeting on the 3rd of July, and we invited a lot of past members as well. Some of them are interested to join. I don't know when exactly, but some have expressed interest, including Arnaud Sartre.
Yes.
That he wants to join the club. So it will be really nice because he's a very experienced member, past district director as well. Pedro knows him well. So from that particular event, we got some interest. I think we have also George that was attending the meeting in person, Andrea. So a few people interested by these particular events. Then Experience French over the last years has been, so we registered as a member of the Federation of Association or French Association of Great Britain. Yeah, it's called FAFGB. So now that we are part of that, as a member, we pay 40 quid a year for that. We have been included in that network beforehand, but now we just paid. We are invited at the Ambassade de France, meeting other people, leader from French Association as well. And it gave us exposure to different people and networks. So that's good. One person that I met at the French embassy or Résidence de France recently was A1 from Le Petit Journal, which is a French newsletter in London. He attended the event on the 3rd of July, and he wants to have an interview with Robert and speak about how the events went. Yeah. He also published something beforehand saying that we are going to celebrate our success and so on. So we have already a good contact here. I know a few others, different other French newspaper. So there are possibility there to recruit bilingual members, clearly, because it's French community, but they live in London, so bilingual people. Yeah, Robert, is that enough?
Yeah, that sounds that sounds great. And if you can bring in sort of other members of the community and just members of the club as well, to sort of if you're going to sort of, for example, an event that's hosted by one of these people, involve other people in it, as well, from the from the club. But that all sounds great. My other idea, it's just an idea in terms of recruitment, would be, obviously we're a hybrid club, and lots of clubs now are either hybrid online, including obviously lots of clubs in French speaking countries. So it seems like there's potentially sort of a pool of potential people who might be interested in our club. So what I was going to propose is that we should try to get like a general evaluator exchange going.
Mm-hmm.
So whereby we would make contact with some sort of target clubs, based in France or another French-speaking country, to see if they would be interested in doing a GE swap, so that a member from their club would come and do a GEing in our club, and a member from our club would go and do a GEing at their club online.
Yeah.
And that increases our network, and and lets people who might be interested in joining a bilingual club know about us as well.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be people from the committee always doing the GEing. We can organize it so that members get involved in this as well.
So we've done this last year, didn't we, Annelise, with Paris Bilingue?
Yeah, so we've already got a bit of a link, I know,
Yeah.
haven't we, with Toastmasters Paris
Bilingue.
Bilingue. So that's what I was
And we've also run joint we've run joint table topic sessions with them.
Yeah.
We did an event. We did 2 events with Table Topic Marathon.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And our members visited their club. They visited the club.
Yeah.
We also have some link with the Francophone community of Toastmaster, like all over the world. There is a network, especially with Canada and some other countries. So there are also links there, and Facebook group and so on. That's very sad that Chao is not here, because she could hear all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but then she can listen to the recording.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's I mean, I suppose that would be kind of a VPM task, really, to oversee the management of that. Is that all right, Eddie?
Eddie's going, why?
Why? Keep tossing up the actions. I'm not saying when I'll get to it, but put it on the action list.
Well, that one should be the VPPR to help.
It could be a VPPR.
Oh, it's the VPPR, is it? That
Yes.
one?
It could be a VPPR.
Yeah.
And actually, Chow's a much better speaker than me, so she although, I mean, anybody who can speak reasonable French could do a GE exchange.
Yeah, but It would
Yeah,
be
so
good.
when
It
I
would be
say,
good.
well, I'm not saying that this so what I'm
No,
envisaging
no, I
is
know
that,
what you're saying. It's all right.
yeah, so what I'm envisaging is that Chow would
Coordinate.
sort of coordinate. So identify the most likely target clubs, get in touch with them, get together a list of people from Experience French who would be willing to GE at another club, including any members, and then just oversee that. That's what I was envisaging.
Yeah.
But we can certainly, if we can note that, yeah, I mean, I can have a chat with Chow about taking that forward if we think that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we come on to COT training. Yeah, so I've put down here that everybody's going to attend training in both the summer and the winter. So obviously, that's what we want to aim for, and there are lots of different. I think I mean, I think ideally they do want people to go to the one on the 29th, because that's the that's the one for that's area, and the idea is that they like, if it's good if officers from the same club can go to the same one if possible. Unfortunately, I can't make that one, so I'm going to this corporate COT training. So I went to the one today, which was on pathways. So I'm going to do 3 of those to get my, for it to sort of count towards this. And I saw that both Louis and Austin were also there today. So it was Experience French was very well represented at the pathways corporate COT training today.
Nice.
So and there are going to be other ones in August as well, apparently, for if people can't attend any of the ones in July. So hopefully everybody is going to be able to attend that. Could I ask that everybody lets me know at some point what one they're going to attend, just so I can keep a track of what's going on with that, and B, so that I can pass on to the area director if anybody's attending anyone outside the area, because I think I'm supposed to be letting her know about that.
Okay, just FYI, I've already attended 3 of them. I might attend others. They're quite interesting, but that will just be spontaneously.
Nice.
Okay, so can you can you drop me a line just on WhatsApp or something, and then I'll pass that on to because I need to pass that information on to the area director, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm up on time. I've got about 10 minutes and I've got to go.
Okay, but you'll just have to go when you have to go, because we've
No.
we've got quite a lot still to go through.
Yeah, okay. That's why I'm going to just leave the recording going.
Okay. Right, who'll be responsible for submitting these for the Mr. Wild headquarters? So membership dues, that's going to be Austin, presumably. Yeah, and Pedro's going to submit the officer list.
That's already done.
Oh, you've done that. Good.
No, Annalise did it, but that was already done.
Okay, good. So did anybody have any other comments on the club success plan?
I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to be late, but I had a very, very horrible day. Oh, don't ask me. But anyway, if possible, I will just ask Robert what I should be doing specifically for anything.
So this meeting's been recorded. So once it's finished, I'll upload it into up online, and then you'll be able to listen to the first part.
Sure, no problem. Thank you, sir. Sorry, very sorry to be late.
Yeah, I mean, one thing particularly is I'd like you to oversee a sort of possibly a GE exchange with other other clubs, but we'll discuss that separately outside the
sure.
context of the meeting.
Sure. Thank you.
And okay, that's fine. So did anybody have any other comments or questions on the relating to anything we've covered on the club success plan before we move on?
Just a quick one. What's your intention with that recap that you did for in terms of education for each of the member? Is it just a visualization tool for you, or is it in line with the question that I asked at the training today of whether we should try to steer people progress based on the overall club success plan?
Sorry, I didn't quite follow that.
You say you had a recap of the different where people stand on pathway that you shared earlier. And
the reason for, are you talking about the bit where we've got who's going to be trying to get level 1 and level 2 and level 3 and all that?
Yeah.
So the reason that's there is because if you have a certain number of people who get level 1 or level 2, then that equates to a DCP point. So that table sort of links into your planning for how the club is going to get the DCP points. And then what I suppose that you really should, or we should be reviewing part way through the year is how people are getting on, and if people are progressing towards those levels. I mean, Eddie is going to, we discussed, didn't we, that Eddie is going to liaise with members to find out what level they're going to be working towards. So I think it would be good as well, really, to explain to them that we are planning that they're going to do that, and that's actually going to get the club this thing, so that they know that the club is kind of relying on them to get that level, so that it equates to a DCP point. So somewhere in that correspondence, it might be good to mention that, Eddie.
Yeah.
Okay. I did have roles and responsibilities down, but
that's easy. Everything's done to me.
I mean, I think with most people, I think individual conversations have happened.
Yes.
So I think actually we can probably skip over that. Is there anybody who is sort of particularly unclear on anything, or feels that they would benefit from some clarification in terms of their role and what they're supposed to be doing?
I think there's some overlap, potential overlap between VPM and VPPR, and and also when we get to VPM and VP, we've kind of sorted some of them out tonight. But it's probably worth me having a chat with Charles separately, just to make sure we don't tread on each other's toes too much, and we work together.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. So next let's move on then to fees. So I'm going to hand over to Austin to lead this part of the meeting.
Well, thank you, Robert, and hi everyone. I just wanted to cover 3 things. So the membership fee level that we believe will cover our costs for the coming year, why it's gone up a little bit. So I can show you the reasons for that, and this is building on Steve's detailed work with the accounts up until now, and then what we're going to do to try and make it easier to pay and to keep the cost low, and then kind of next steps after that. So membership fees, we think we need to cover costs. As Robert mentioned earlier, we are trying to have an incentive for people to pay before that deadline where the Toastmaster international fees go up. So to cover fees, it will be about £72 before that deadline, and then it goes up to £84 if people miss that deadline. The reason why those have gone up a little bit is partly because of the venue hire. So I've got a little column O here that shows the two main parts of what's driving our costs. So Toastmasters subscriptions, it's a big part of it as it was before, but then the venue charges are then going to be about a third of our costs in the coming year. And so that adds on a big chunk of costs, a big chunk of expenditure. So there's that, plus the slight increase in subscription fees, and then a couple of kind of expense items here. But you can see those two, venue and the subscriptions are the two main ones. So those two combined, both going up, mean that the fees need to go up. But we're hoping that as many people as possible can pay before that deadline when the fees go up, so they can pay 72 rather than 84. In terms of what we're going to do to try and make that easier for people, a couple of things based on comments during Steve's presentation a few weeks ago. So for people who are paying from overseas, people mentioned that it's quite expensive to transfer money across. So I'm going to try and set up a Stripe account where people can pay from overseas via credit cards. The fees for that will be a couple of percent. So a couple of percent on top of that 72 quid, rather than people are often paying $20 to transfer across. And so we can try and make it easier for people to do that. And then the other thing that tries to keep the cost down is the couple of discounts that we might be able to get. So there's a Zoom discount from Toastmasters. I'm going to open my little notes column here. And there's a potential Zoom discount voucher from Toastmasters that halves that Zoom cost. It's not a big kind of item in our expenditure, but we'll cut a bit of cost off. And then there's potentially a contribution from Beacon communicators as well to our meetup costs. So in summary, the fees have gone up a bit. We're going to try and encourage people to pay before the deadline where the fees goes up. So we take advantage of that low fee, reduce costs as much as possible, and make it easy for people to pay as they if they're overseas. And the last kind of point just to mention on the differential between the two fees, so the 72 and 84 pounds, we did also consider whether it would be whether it might be better to have a different cost for people who are joining online versus people joining in person, given that that venue cost is so significant. But we thought being hybrid it's a core part of the club. Having a higher price for people who are joining in person discourages people turning up in person as well, and it keeps it simple if there is a kind of a flat fee across everyone, where the only thing to kind of to get your head around is I need to pay before this deadline so I can save myself 12 quid there, otherwise I'm going to pay a slightly higher fee. Okay, I'm going to stop there, and I can see Annalise, you have your hand up there.
Yes. Thank you very much, Austin. That's great. I will put you in touch with Beckenham communicators for the contribution for the meetup. Zoom, that's perfect that you are going to do that. At the moment, there is a feature on Toastmaster International called self-pay that we have activated for Suzanne and Teresa. So you need to know about that, meaning that because we only have 3 people actually that are 4 with so Suzanne, Teresa, we have Neil that is in Greece, and then we have Claire that is in France. So for the Americans, it has been a problem, the fees clearly. So we have activated the self-pay. So Suzanne, for example, joined back the club in June, and she used the self-pay feature to pay only for the Toastmaster fee. So you need to know about that.
Yeah, so we Austin and I have discussed this, and Austin says that he's got this there's this thing called, what's it called?
Stripe.
Stripe.
And the point is that will mean that that will massively bring down the fee that they would have to pay over and above, because they're doing it from America to 2 or 3% rather than $20 or whatever. And so on that, so we're not going to continue with, so the proposal which we're discussing really is that for them, we're not going to continue with that. What we're going to do is encourage them to pay through this so that they're not paying very much over and above, but they are paying essentially the same as everybody else. So the 72 or the 84, you know, so I think we need to. I think it might be worth somebody, Austin or whoever, having perhaps, if this is that conversation with Teresa and Suzanne, so that this doesn't come as a surprise. But you know, I mean, my view is that it's better that everybody, if possible, that everybody is paying the same. Otherwise, it's going to have to be even more expensive for those people who are coming in person. You know, it's questionable why we're charging Neil the full whack, but giving the Americans a discount. And at the end of the day, the club only really operates because we are a hybrid.
Definitely.
Club, you know, because you know some people only come in person, some people only come online. So therefore, it's fair enough that everybody is contributing to all the costs, rather of whether they benefit from them or not. So that's my view. So does anybody have any comments on that? Because we want to sort of get you know, this is something we want to get sort of people's approval on. So did anybody have any comments on that?
I think we should be able to set up a Stripe account through ToastHost, and therefore that would integrate it into the rest of the membership process. And I think if we can do that, that would be neat. And I do agree, it would be great not to have anybody paying Toastmasters International directly, because then they have to make one payment to TMI and one to us for the running of the club. And you know what will happen, they'll only do one and there'll be a lot manual chasing to get the other one. So I think just one place to pay a single amount would be the simplest process. So is that for something that you and Austin, Eddie, can liaise? I think so.
Discuss in terms of Stripe integration into ToastHost.
Yeah, I think Rory can certainly tell us how to do it. He's the developer of ToastHost.
Annalise?
On that ToastHost, I added you all to the group chat regarding ToastHost, because we all have something to say about that. This is a tool that has been developed by Rory maybe a little bit more than 3 years ago. We used it for 3 years, and Rory has been very keen to get some feedback and beta test and so on from us. So if we need to say anything, then it's the right place to say something. Two other things regarding the treasury, the venue, Dauphine. So something we will need to do is to get in touch directly with Veronique to have a proper calendar for the year ahead, because I saw on your spreadsheet, for example, that in April, May we paid 120. I don't think so, because but I'm not sure exactly, but there are some periods where they don't have students. Then we pay more. Otherwise, we pay £20 to cover from 8, which is the time they are closing, until 9. So we pay for 1 hour between 8 and 9. When they don't have students, then we need to pay from 6 to 9.
So we think we've so we didn't have the exact dates. So we think we've overestimated the cost of the venue.
That's good.
So we think we've, because it's not going to be more. No. It's not going to be more expensive than what we've estimated. It's probably going to be a bit less, isn't it? So that's
yes.
So
that's good. That's good. And the last thing is meeting expenses that I can see in July. Just to tell you, so what happened for the 3rd of July? So initially the plan was to buy 10 baguettes, 10 camembert, and 10 bottles of wine from the fund of Experience French. And at the end, Veronique from Dauphine contributed for the baguette and the cheese. So she paid for that, so which was quite nice. We paid for the wine, which was about less than 60. And I also pay, and I told that to Austin, I pay for a present to Experience French, because an anniversary without a present is not an anniversary. So it was £35 for that particular present with a free box of feedbacks. Yeah, so that I will bring at the next meeting anyway. And I think did we oh yes, and I bought also a foldable lectern for the club, which was not more than 40, I think, plus an extension, HDMI extension of 3 meters, so that we are very happy to go wherever we want regarding the setup. I will bring a spare mouse that I have, because the computer that they share with us, the touchpad is crap. So I will bring that. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yes. And thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you. Well, one thing in case, I don't know if anyone was wondering what number of members that's based on. I've based it on the 20 bare minimum that came up a bit earlier on.
So yeah, I think that's fair. So you've got a relatively conservative analysis. Yeah. Looking at the numbers, there's not much that's going to make a huge difference. Our big costs are pretty nailed, and the only way we're going to make a significant difference is we double the members, and that's not likely to happen anytime soon. So I think it's a good plan.
Great, thank you, everyone.
So are we going to vote this as the new fee structure?
Yes. So let's take a vote on it then. Or is there anybody who's not happy with it? Shout if you're unhappy. Okay, I hear silence, so I assume it's taken for the minutes that everybody is happy. Annalise. Oh, sorry, is that an old hand? Right. That's fine. So what I'm going to suggest then Austin, is, do you want to put together an email to go out to the members and everybody? Yeah, I'm happy to have a look at it before it goes, just as if you want, just as a second pair of eyes, just explaining the fees and the early bird discounts, and then yeah, and then I think, and then leave the international bit out of it for the moment. I think have that chat with Eddie, about doing it via Toast, and then have an individual chat, probably, I think, with Teresa and Suzanne about that. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, good. Okay, what's next? Humorous speech contest. So I was suggesting that we have that in the second meeting in September. Yeah. So I think we should, and I'll mention that at the next meeting, so that people can, hopefully start thinking about it now and volunteer for the humorous speech contest. And really encourage people, particularly for the table topics, because obviously that involves zero preparation. So, really as many people what's possible of the members we want to put them to put themselves forward for that element of the contest. And obviously if we tell them now, they've got more time to put together a humorous speech contest, because they'll have two months to do it. And then assuming that we have more than one person who's actually interested, which hopefully we will if we're telling them about it now, then obviously we'll have the club contest in the second week of September. How is kind of things like getting judges and helpers from other clubs done? I don't know anything about what the usual process is for that.
At club level, we don't really need to have judges from somewhere else because anybody in the club can judge.
Okay, so that's at club level. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. You need to do it when you get to area level.
Right. Okay. My confusion.
At club
Okay.
level, anybody can be a judge.
Okay.
So
we just need to ensure that we've got people who are prepared to be a judge and do the other roles as well, isn't it? Yeah. But they can all be from Experience French.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Okay. So anybody have anything to say about the humour speech contest?
Just out of curiosity, how does it work? Is it impromptu speaking, or is it?
So
like,
it's both. So it's a humorous speech contest element is a prepared. I think is it 5 to 7 or 6 to 8?
5 to 7.
It's a prepared 5 to 7 minute speech, and it's meant to be a humorous speech. But beyond that, it's a prepared speech where you select the topic, and then there's a separate contest which is dealt with at the same time, which is a table topics contest. So that's you do a table topic in the usual fashion of 1 to 2 minutes, and everybody gets the same one. People wait outside the room and are called in one by one. So there's 2 separate parts to the contest. Okay, and then so the next thing is mentoring. So I think we should sort of get doing mentoring properly in the club, since we speak about it a lot. So I think we should really do it properly. So I think that probably does rest with the VPE, unless people think otherwise, if that's okay, Louis. I think the first step towards that is asking the members whether they want to be mentored, so whether they want to be a mentee, and whether they want to be a mentor. And I can mention this next at the next meeting, and as well, so that we can establish who's actually interested in being mentored and being a mentor. But so some way of sort of polling that. So have a think, Louis, about what the best way for us to do that might be.
We'll do a quick online poll at WhatsApp, maybe.
Yeah,
is it
so one of
something
those.
we should ask, or should we just push it on to people? Because
No. We should ask them if they want to be. Yeah, we could just do it. You could just, if you know how to do that, then you can just do a WhatsApp poll.
When we say mentor, maybe we don't. I think I remember that from Pedro's speech. We don't necessarily need to be too experienced to be a mentor, right?
Yeah, and I think it's worth driving that home that even if you're relatively new to Toastmasters, you could still be somebody's mentor if you want to be, but it's really what people want to do. I mean, obviously, if there is a massive difference between the number of people willing to be mentees and willing to be mentors, then we'll have to look at that. But I think we want to just gauge interest initially. So yeah, just doing a WhatsApp poll, or alternatively a doodle poll and emailing out to members. But if you know to do a WhatsApp poll, that's because you can see what people select on that, can't you? So you can see what individuals have selected. So yeah, I would just suggest doing that. And all you're asking them is, sorry, go on.
I was just going to ask the details, like what does it mean to be a mentor? Like, what's your perception?
Well, I think I mean, I'm not an expert in it, but I mean, it's the idea is, I mean, it's quite a flexible arrangement, but it's somebody there to sort of encourage you, and to sort of to be a soundboard. I mean, it's somebody who could hear a first run through of your speech. It's somebody who could, you know, sit down with you and look at what you want to achieve and how you're going to achieve it. So once we've matched people, I'd envisaged that you know, it'd be good if people can have, you know, an initial catch up to discuss what they would like from the relationship and how they would like to run, because we can make suggestions as to what a mentor and mentee should be doing, but there is quite a lot of flexibility in it for people to find out what is useful out of that relationship from them. But I mean, to be honest, we've had, I mean, I can mention a bit about mentoring and what a mentor and a mentee does, but I mean, to be honest, we've had several talks on it, so from Annalise and Pedro, so hopefully people have got the idea already, but I can talk about that briefly as well.
I've listened to the talk, but I don't know if I really know into details. It's still like, since we haven't really implemented it, there's still some kind of fuzzy area. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can talk a little bit about that at the meeting as well, at the club meeting. So we could. It might be better to wait for the club meeting, and then I'll say we're going to do this and talk a little bit about mentoring, and then do the WhatsApp poll after the club meeting.
Okay,
that's probably better. And Annalise is saying there's an easy to speak feature that we can use to start the pairing once it's agreed, so that's good. Okay, so the next item is social. So I think we should try and have you know, one social over the course of the year that is kind of outside the context of the relevant meetings. I'm pretty ambivalent as to when that be, but sort of, I suppose sort of in the lead up to Christmas is a natural time, but it's also when people tend to be extremely busy with various events. But you know, and what I'd envisaged is that there'd be some sort of French link. I mean, you know, it could be anything, this social event, but there'd be some kind of French link. So it might be going along to see some performance of some description that has some link to France, or having a meal somewhere like a French restaurant or something. Just, I think it would be good to have something like that sort of outside the usual meetings. So who would like to sort of take ownership of that and sort of having initially, I suppose, having a think about what we could do for that social? Is that something you'd like to do, Chow?
Yeah, well, why not? Yes.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did anybody else have any comments on that or thoughts?
Sounds like a good idea.
Okay, good. Okay, so then, sorry, the other thing that is about how often we want to have these meetings. Any thoughts?
Okay,
how did they do it last year?
I mean, I was going to say, I mean, before the meeting, I was planning to suggest every two or 3 months, but I know that Pedro sort of implied that we possibly should have them every month. I don't know what I mean, what was done last year in the committee? How many committee meetings happened last year?
Good question. So I think we had maybe 2, and then it was mainly an exchange via WhatsApp and individual discussion, because
yeah. So I mean, my view is that if if the lines of communications, yeah, so I think my view is that if the lines of communications are open and working well, and we're having individual discussions with each other, you know, we don't necessarily need necessarily need monthly committee meetings, is my view. And there also probably needs to be an element of playing it by ear a little bit, because it might be that we've come up to, you know, we have a situation where we have multiple big decisions that we need to sort of discuss together. So I sort of think sort of every, I'm not going to suggest that we necessarily even set the next date for this at the moment, but sort of every 2 or 3 months, but with flexibility of playing it by ear as to, you know, when timing wise in terms of decisions it's going to be a good time to have it.
Well, personally, I'll go with the majority. What happens in my other club is we have a meeting every month, but it's time boxed. It's no more than an hour, and the target is 45 minutes, so that you just deal with the stuff that's because every month something comes up that you hadn't expected, or progress on something isn't as good. But as you say, if the communication's working, then maybe we don't need to do that.
Okay.
So I'm happy.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes, and we can always start having more regular committee meetings than that if necessary. Okay. Good. So I think that's everything that I wanted to discuss. Okay, Annalise.
Yes, I have something else to add to that. To this afternoon, I shared with you the folder where Pedro is going to publish the committee meetings minutes, but there is more. Yeah, there is a Google Drive. So with this folder and some other, I'm doing some sorting at the moment and to share something that is quite clean. But you all need to have a Google account. So I know Eddie has one, Robert, Pedro, Chao asked me as well, but I think Austin and Louis, I shared that with your Yahoo address, but then you probably have a Google account if you have an Android. So you need to ask me to give you access. And then I will have your Google address and I will be able to share other parts of the Google Drive with you as well. Yeah.
I've tried your link and I was able to access the Google Drive.
Yeah, you cannot with your Yahoo, but you
No,
can...
I mean, I was able to. No, it directed me to my Google.
Yeah, me too. I think
I was able to access it.
Okay. Can you share with me your Google account, both of you, Austin and Louis? Because then I will be able to share the other part with your Google account, and it's cleaner. The other thing I need to give you access is the Zoom. Yeah, the Zoom. I need to give it to you, the Zoom details. So who I need to give that to?
Chao,
but not only Chao. I need a few people.
Me then, and Louis, I'd have thought.
So is it like being host for the meetings? Is that what?
Yeah, it's actually so what it means is when, for example, Pedro is recording, I guess Pedro is recording in the cloud. This is what I do when I record something, because then it's available for the account. So I guess Pedro, this is what he's doing. Then, you know, for example, when we did the handover, Louis, Chao, and Robert, I recorded the session and then I shared it with you. Yeah, so this is available on the Zoom account, for example. But mainly the Zoom account, we use it to start the meeting, to record a speech if somebody wants to record a speech, But we need to always have a few people that are able to start the meeting, you know, because you never know. Yeah, we don't want to rely on only one person. So this is why I will share the credentials to go to zoom.us where we start the meeting. Probably because you haven't been a host yet, it will ask a code that will be sent to the Experience French email and after a few times you will not have to enter that. Yes, exactly. So we're sharing that. Perfect.
I share it. If anybody wants to grab a screenshot, they could do that.
Perfect. Perfect, Eddie. Thank you very much. Eddie has the credential too. Yeah. So of course, you know, so this is very important to keep that, you know, between all of us. On the Google Drive, there are all the information to run the club. And this is where we store documents and so on. All the documents I shared with you are on the Google Drive as well.
Is this document on the Google Drive?
Yeah, this isn't page 0. This is on the Google Drive, so everybody who has access can see how to get onto Twitter, Meetup, Easy Speak, blah blah blah. Yeah, if I scroll down, you'll see this is actually really well organized. I wish my other club were as well organized as this.
Really, we did a great job with Patrick to organize that.
So you can see that it's.
Lots of information, but I need to check if they are still valid, all the information, and if they are still, yeah.
If you couldn't update it, then Annalise, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to go through all the different folder before giving you full access to that. But the first time, Robert or Chao, you will connect on the Zoom account via zoom.us, then he will say, oh, you need a code. And the code, Eddie will receive it because he has access to the email, the Gmail account of Experience French. I will receive it as well. Then we will give you the code and you will have access. Yeah. So, but the few first time or once every 2 months, maybe something like that at first, and then it will not ask again. Okay.
Sure.
Good.
Excellent.
Okay, anything else?
No, I want to leave before I get any more actions.
Oh, yeah. A last thing, I have seen in the group chat, the WhatsApp group chat I belongs to many, different group depending of the role, like VPPR, VPE, Easy Speak, Club Treasurer, and Mo Dawodu that you might have met because he visited the club some time ago. He's the new club growth director for the district. And he asked me to set up 3 groups, one for membership, one for sergeant at arms, and one for club secretary. So I set them up, added you, and added him as an admin, and then I will push that back to him. But you are part of this group because you are role holders. Yeah. For the other group that were already existing, I didn't add you. I shared the link in our club leaders group chat so that you can join them with the link. Yeah. And I know Austin, I think you joined it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Louis, I don't know if you did, but 2 groups that are very interesting for you, VPE and Easy Speak. Definitely interesting. And Robert, I think you joined also the club president group.
Yeah.
So just few information or way to grab information or to hear something that you will not otherwise hear because just you are part of the discussion.
Okay, great. Thank you. Was there anything else from anybody? Okay, well then we can close the meeting. Thank you everybody for your time. And see most of you on Monday.
Monday.
Yes, definitely.
Very bien.
So if you want
Yeah.
to save the chat, then you will get all the links that I shared on the document. Maybe you need to click on the document to get them before closing the Zoom. So generally you use the three dots at the bottom and you save the chat if you want to.
Do you have to do that for each individual message?
No, it saves the whole lot.
Yeah.
Is it?
For the document, I'm not sure. And the document, you might need to click on the image or on the document to save them. But for the messages, they are saved all when you save the chat.
Yeah, it's in
So
crude text. It's in a sort of text format. It's not very user friendly.
Sorry, they're saved with the record, the recording of the video, or do we
As well.
save them individually for our own account?
They should be with the recording as well.
Okay. As well as you mean both, like we could
if
also have like a local copy.
When you saved it, you save it locally on your computer, but it should be included in the recording.
When I click on save, it doesn't do anything. I mean, I don't see any
at the bottom,
you'll see a tiny little message saying chat saved. View and
yeah, I did click on it, but it didn't do anything. So I'm just wondering where it's saved.
It's the three dots right, but at the bottom.
Right at the bottom.
Below where you type a message.
No, I get it. Maybe I could share my screen for you to see.
Yeah, it says chat saved, but it's very yeah.
I have to go through security. Never mind. But I can see the button. I clicked on it. It's just that there was no feedback whatsoever. So I'm just wondering what's supposed to happen after that.
So I'll share my screen. This is what it looks like. So it's not really brilliantly user friendly, but you can sort of copy paste the links if you need to.
Yeah, but how did you find this file? Is it on your
saves it
desk?
it saves it into well, what it did on my computer is it saves it into a Zoom folder.
Okay, well let me share again. Stop share.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's there indeed. But yeah, there was no indication of that. But yeah, that's true.
No, it just comes down a tiny little thing, save and fold, and you can click that and it'll open it up. But
yeah. A last thing from me, I would advise everybody to keep their Zoom application up to date, because they are always improving, correcting bugs and so on. And that's good to just do an update regularly on your Zoom.
Yeah, because every now and again it says you can't run you can't join a meeting until you update. And it's always the point that you're really in a hurry. Exactly. Happens to me regularly. I'm in a hurry and I go, oh, bugger.
So you don't want that to happen when you are launching a meeting, for example. Definitely.
Okay, good. Anything else from anyone? Okay, then thanks everybody for coming, and see most of you on Monday.
Okay, see you Monday.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
See you.
And Lise, you're still there. You're still there. I was going to ask you if you could send me the details of anybody who expressed an interest in rejoining or joining at the event.
Yeah, so what I can already tell you that Didier Yemene was a member a few years back. Is interesting. I don't know when, but he said, I have been attending and it was quite nice. Arnaud Sartre, definitely. So I'm just finishing as well the 10 years anniversary feedback and so on, because I gather feedback as well from people, what they liked and So I will definitely share that with you. But yeah, so I'm sharing that with you on Monday.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. And then I'll chase them up. Just keep in touch with them so they don't. So just to keep momentum going.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't share the link with anybody in the room, the guest book. I shared the guest book link with Ilaria, who was our host for the evening.
Yes.
But I'm not. There was only one guest, and it was a friend from, or a friend or somebody Louis knows, and I think you have been in touch with her, I guess. But so I will share the list of the people who attended the meeting anyway, and then as soon as somebody say yes, yeah, you will get the information. No worries.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I spoke to Ilaria last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were at a children's speakers event. It was our, I think, 30th anniversary.
Wow.
So we had a little dinner, and so I spent some time talking to Ilaria last night.
Cool.
I don't think she's ready to rejoin Experience French.
No, not at all. But, you know, maybe if she was rejoining, maybe she will rejoin in Italy, or something very different. But yeah, no, I think she might need a break, or something like that. So I know.
We haven't seen Yamina for a while. Do you know what
Yamina sent me a message saying that she will be away or not available. I asked her if she wanted to join for the anniversary and so on. She said that she had some people over and she was not available. So I'm not sure she will rejoin, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to discuss that with you as well. You know, between the list of the members, I can tell you that already. Let me check. So okay, I'm a member. Armin say he wants to stay as a member, and that's very advisable anyway when you are club president to be a member of another club.
Yeah.
Austin, obviously. Basga, she say that she has made some space in her calendar to attend, and then she disappeared again. So, and she doesn't reply my text anymore. So I don't know her situation exactly, but she's not totally engaged yet. Yeah.
Yeah. She hasn't done a role at all. She hasn't done an evaluator or a timekeeper.
She turned up the meeting before the celebration, and she said, that's okay, now I'm going to attend. So I don't know what happened with her. Shetan is here. When he was back from holiday, he even helped to open the Experience French present at the pub.
Okay, good.
Chris, I'm not sure he will stay because he lives in Reading now, and they meet at the same time. So Dananje, I'm not sure he's into spirituality. He has started to be involved, or at least attend an event that is happening on Sunday evening. And I guess it's more important for him. But at the same time, it seems to keep an eye. And the other thing about him, he was very busy because somebody at his work left. So the loads was shared with a few people. So this is the situation with Dananje. Louis, Eddie, we know them. Natalie, she will not rejoin. She's now in Australia, in Melbourne, I think. Or if it's not Melbourne, it's another place. But it was 3 o'clock in the morning, so she cannot attend. Neil, I guess he will stay. Patrick, I think he will stay. Pedro, I think he should stay anyway. Pichun, so it's Claire.
Yeah.
I don't know about Claire. She just started to really get involved. Let's see how it goes with Claire. She lives in France.
But she's only joined recently, so only
She joined recently. She is part of another English club, Shilling Speaker.
Oh, okay.
So she really wanted to join, but the communication with her was a bit bizarre sometimes because it's like she was forgetting what she has said or something. So I don't know her really well, let's say. Ciao, Robert. Raven, he came back from Barbados. He's back in London, but he is starting again, I think, to work probably for TFL or something like that. So he has shifts that are very sporadic, and sometimes he cannot attend. So I don't know about his situation.
Okay.
Steve will not stay for sure. Suzanne, she seemed very keen to come back. Teresa is keen to stay. Yamina, no, I don't think she will stay. Yeah. So you have all the information about my knowledge of the current membership.
That's really useful.
Another person who is going to attend the next meeting, no, the next meeting or the meeting after, I cannot remember, Corinne Guinaud. So it's one of the French people living in London that I met at an event on the 5th of July. And so she's bilingual, clearly, and she's interested by the club. So, and I will carry on Friday. I'm going to the Ambassade de France.
Ah oui.
Meeting again. I said to Robert, after that, you know, they will invite you.
C'est un peu difficile, hein? Ah, mais pas pour Robert, car il a vécu en France.
Il a vécu en France, Robert?
Oui, il a fait ses études en France.
Vraiment?
Oui.
Je sais que Chris a vécu en France. Robert, je ne sais pas, à vrai dire.
Ah oui, j'en suis sûr.
Ok. Eh ben,
1 an, 2 ans peut-être.
Ah, c'est possible, j'ai oublié. On a probablement dit en discuter il y a très longtemps. Il y a 10 ans peut-être. Un peu moins. Mais voilà, enfin, ce que j'ai dit à Robert avant, avant la réunion, c'est que il y a des liens avec la communauté francophone de Londres.
Ouais.
Donc, il faut juste les activer au bon moment, etc. Voilà. Et je vais recontacter Ewan qui était là, donc du petit journal.
Il est français.
Il est français, mais c'est un stagiaire en fait. C'est un stagiaire journaliste qui était là. Ouais. Il a supprimé l'événement sur le petit journal, mais je pense que c'est de ma faute. C'est moi en fait que on a reçu 2 emails 2 jours de suite disant Experience French, ses succès, etc. Et puis j'ai eu peur qu'on ait trop de monde. Donc je lui ai dit, il faut juste s'assurer qu'on ne reçoit pas un 3e email avec le truc. Voilà, parce que je commençais à m'inquiéter. En fait, finalement, des gens qui disent qu'ils viennent, la moitié vient. Donc on n'avait pas trop de monde, mais ça m'a fait peur un instant, tu vois. Voilà. Donc l'événement n'est plus sur le site, mais j'ai les emails où il l'a publié. Et il a dit, en tout cas, qu'il voulait faire une interview du président du club et parler aussi de l'événement qu'on a eu, des 10 ans du club, et de publier quelque chose dessus, ce qui est très bien. Donc, je sais qu'il est en vacances le 14, donc il doit être en vacances cette semaine. Voilà, on va lui laisser un petit peu de temps. Mais sinon, je connais d'autres journaux sur Londres aussi qui sont francophones et ça va nous attirer du monde ou des pages Facebook avec des groupes, etc. Enfin, il y a des possibilités. Je partagerai ça de toute façon sur le Drive. Je partagerai un document. Et bien sûr, Edith, tu pourras y avoir accès également. Mais là, je n'ai pas voulu partager tout d'un coup parce que c'est le bazar, hein, je le sais. On a beaucoup de choses et je préfère faire un peu de rangement avant de partager quelque chose, quoi.
Ok.
Voilà, c'est la raison pour laquelle j'ai attendu.
D'accord.
Donc, je vais continuer mon rangement maintenant.
Oui. Et tu pars quand?
Je prends mon avion le 23 juillet pour Lyon.
23.
Ouais, donc je serai. Donc lundi, je viens à Dauphine. Je vais apporter le sac avec tous les affaires, plus. Tiens, t'as pas vu, toi, Eddy? En fait, rien là. Bon, tu vois pas bien, mais en fait, elle est gravée. C'est une boîte
Ah, OK.
qui est gravée. C'est marqué feedback. First speaker, premier orateur, expérience French Toastmaster. Je vais mettre un papier noir derrière pour qu'on puisse voir la gravure. Et il y a une petite pousse qui est sur le couvercle. C'est pour collecter le feedback, en fait.
Ah oui.
Voilà, donc c'est ça le cadeau. C'est 3 boîtes comme ça, marquées
Oui.
premier, deuxième, troisième. Donc je vais rapporter tout ce que j'ai. Parce que vu qu'on est parti à toute vitesse lundi dernier, j'ai pris le sac, j'ai laissé vraiment 2-3 trucs là-bas, mais je vais rapporter un sac bien rangé avec tous les papiers, etc. quoi. Voilà.
Oui.
En tout
Donc,
cas,
tu pars le 23
ouais,
et tu reviens quand?
je sais pas. Non,
Pas exactement, mais tu
ouais.
reviens.
Alors je reviens avant début septembre.
Ah oui.
Mais je sais pas encore si je peux partir 5 semaines sans revenir ou si je dois revenir un peu et repartir après.
Ton compagnon dit quoi sur ça? Je pars, peut-être je reviens.
Ok, alors si tu veux savoir vraiment la personne avec qui je vis, en fait, là, il commence des travaux dans l'appartement qui est. Je vis sur un chantier. Je
Ah
vis
oui,
dans un appartement qui a une extension en cours.
ah oui.
Donc, en fait, il va commencer au mois d'août les travaux de faire le sol, les murs, etc. Donc, je suis très contente de ne pas être là. Et là, je suis en train de tout ranger mes affaires et de vider toutes mes affaires qui sont dans l'espace pour qu'il puisse faire tout ce qu'il veut et que j'ai pas à m'inquiéter de mes affaires, tu vois. Donc, et voilà, et puis sinon, on n'est pas mariés, hein, on vit ensemble, c'est tout. Hein, donc,
Ouais.
voilà, hein, c'est pas mon mari, c'est pas le père de mes enfants non plus, voilà.
Ouais. Ah, intéressant.
Ah non, oui, mais on vit bien ensemble, hein, voilà, mais on partage le même espace, quoi.
Hmm, très bien. Donc, tu reviens
Je,
peut-être août, peut-être septembre, peut-être octobre.
non, je reviens, j'ai des choses qui sont déjà prévues en septembre, et puis je viendrai de toute façon pour la première réunion de septembre aussi, normalement c'est ce qui est prévu. Mais, non, c'est juste que,
Tes enfants sont ici en Angleterre, oui?
alors ma fille est ici, mon fils a pris un vol tout à l'heure pour aller à Singapour et à Bali
Ah oui,
avec la famille de sa copine.
ah oui.
Donc il va revenir dans 2 semaines et demie, je ne serai pas là. Et après, il va partir habiter en Écosse.
Ah, dommage.
Il va partir, sa copine en fait commence un master en septembre à Édimbourg. Donc ils doivent encore partir au mois d'août,
Mhm.
trouver un logement, etc.
Yeah,
Et
oui.
ils vont être là-bas pour une année, quoi. Donc voilà. Donc je ne vais pas le revoir avant. Je l'ai vu hier soir. Je suis passée le voir là où il bosse dans le pub
Ouais.
pour pouvoir passer un petit moment en même temps avec lui avant qu'il parte. Voilà, mais
Ouais,
ma fille est à Londres. Elle va aller faire un tour en France aussi un petit peu, mais elle est à Londres.
ouais. Ah non, à Édimbourg. Ah oui, ça va, ça va. 2 ans peut-être pas, mais
Ah,
non.
pourquoi peut-être pas?
Ah, c'est intéressant, Édimbourg. Euh, mais il fait froid.
J'ai bien l'impression.
Oui. C'est à l'est d'Écosse et au nord. Euh, il y a un vent incroyablement froid.
Ok. Bon, c'est bon à savoir, hein, c'est bon à savoir.
Mais j'avais une amie qui est venue à Édimbourg pour la fête, le festival.
Ouais.
Oui, et il faisait assez beau pour Édimbourg.
Ok.
Et elle a dit, ah, ça doit être très, très beau en été. Euh, nous nous l'avons dit, ah, c'est juin, c'est l'été actuellement.
C'est ça.
Ah,
Ah, ouais, ouais.
mais elle venait de la Colombie.
Ah
Donc,
bah oui, évidemment. Évidemment. Ouais, ouais. Toi, tu es originaire de où, Eddy?
moi, oui, je suis écossais.
Que c'est, mais de où?
Ah, de Stirling.
Sterling.
Stirling, c'est à l'ouest d'Édimbourg, environ 1 heure, peut-être
D'accord.
40 minutes.
Et tu as décidé de venir au show.
Ah oui, oui. C'était pas la raison, mais après avoir senti le chaleur,
Non, non, je comprends.
je, je-
Et ils ont, en fait, là, ça fait 1 an. Ouais, ça fait 1 an bon, pas tout à fait. Ils sont revenus l'année dernière, mais ils ont vécu à Leeds pendant 3 ans.
ah oui,
Donc déjà, Leeds, il fait plus froid hein, qu'ici.
ah
Hein.
oui aussi.
Il fait frais.
Le,
Hein.
le Yorkshire en hiver, c'est quoi?
Ouais, ouais, ouais. Après, ils sont partis en janvier jusqu'en avril pendant 3 mois en Amérique centrale.
Ah oui.
C'était chaud. Hein. Donc là, ils vont à Bali. Clairement, ça va être chaud, je pense, j'imagine. J'ai pas été regarder
Ah
avec
oui, oui, balise, oui, certainement.
avant d'aller dans le froid, en fait. Ouais. Mais bon, c'est une belle expérience.
Ah oui, oui, certainement.
Ça va me donner l'occasion d'aller visiter Édimbourg. Je suis
Ah
jamais allée
oui,
en Écosse, donc
il faut y aller en août.
en août.
Oui, en août, parce que il y a le festival, le Fringe.
Oui, oui. Ouais,
C'est,
ça risque d'être difficile pour cette année, mais peut-être une prochaine année. Ouais.
oui,
Mm, mm. Donc,
il y a beaucoup d'événements de théâtre, de danse, mais c'est vraiment intéressant.
ah oui, j'en suis sûre. J'aime beaucoup ce genre de choses. C'était bien tes vacances?
Moi, oui, j'étais en vacances la semaine dernière euh, en Écosse.
Ah,
Et la semaine avant, la région des lacs
ah,
au nord d'Angleterre, pour se promener, marcher dans pas montagnes en Angleterre, mais c'était
les
dans
collines.
la campagne, dans les collines. C'était vraiment agréable.
Ah,
Et le temps, il faisait assez beau. Beaucoup de pluie, des orages, puis des répits, puis des
ouais.
orages, puis c'était comme ça.
Tu as fait du camping? Non.
Non, non.
Non, non. J'imagine. Parce
On a, nous sommes descendus dans un hôtel assez luxueux,
ok.
pas très luxueux, mais confortable.
Confortable. Voilà,
Ouais.
exactement. Bah oui, il y a des moments, hein, c'est ce qu'on veut aussi. Hein, camping, c'est ça.
Ah oui. Mais
Effectivement.
j'aime camping.
C'est une ambiance différente, en fait.
Oui, oui. C'est différent. L'air, les étoiles.
Ouais, ouais, ouais. Moi, j'ai fait beaucoup de camping étant enfant et puis même plus tard après, avec les enfants un petit peu aussi. Ouais, j'aime bien. Mm, mm. Bon, je vais aller voir si mon compagnon a préparé à manger.
Ah, tu espères.
Bon, j'ai pas très faim, mais
Ah
bon,
oui,
voilà, un petit peu.
ah oui, j'ai déjà mangé.
D'accord. Ok. Moi,
Environ 19 heures.
ouais, c'est une bonne heure pour manger. Ouais.
Ouais.
Moi, c'est très variable pour moi. Mais,
Ouais. OK, alors,
eh
à,
ben,
demain, à lundi.
à lundi, et donc avec la liste des gens qui ont assisté à notre événement,
Ouais.
et avec une petite étoile pour ceux qui sont intéressés.
Oui,
Voilà,
s'il te plaît.
ça marche. On fait
Oui.
ça.
OK,
À
bon
bientôt.
appétit.
Merci et bonne fin de semaine.
OK,
À lundi.
au revoir.
Ciao.